Hey, 7th graders, I promised you a tutorial for the test tomorrow, so here it is. But I already have 4 tutorials of the 6 systems that were being tested on tomorrow on my YouTube channel, and I am going to load those individually under the Body Systems Resources folder on Schoology. So there's a video over the circulatory system, muscular system, skeletal system, and nervous system. Each one's between 15 and 20 minutes. Obviously, you don't have to watch all of them. You don't have to watch any of them if you don't want to. And you can fast forward through them, etc. Just know that if I allude to, oh, there's a test next week or whatever, just keep in mind that those videos are from 2015 and not 2016. So don't say, oh, yay, she changed the test. Remember, those are from last year. So make sure you visit those videos and check out what I've got on there. So obviously this is page 2 of the review, and I'm going to be picking up at the bottom of page 2, which is the endocrine and reproductive system. I'm not going to be going over this word for word, but I am going to be telling you where to find the information. Most of you should have finished your reviews by now, and this is just getting ready for the test tomorrow. But all of this information is in your notes. Either obviously your endocrine system notes or your reproductive system notes. And those should be glued into your interactive notebook. If you can't find them, then what you need to do is go to Schoology. And if you need the endocrine information, go to the endocrine folder, and reproductive, obviously the reproductive folder, and the PowerPoint is the same PowerPoint for both. So, but one of the things, I want to point out some special things about, or not special things, but things that, excuse me, stand out in the review. So, for example, how many parents involved in sexual reproduction? So we know that the difference, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction are, I guess, opposites. So you could say asexual and sexual. So asexual is 1 and sexual is 2. Remember, that just means egg and sperm coming together. That's what that is. Not necessarily the act, and we've talked about this before. It's also important to know the difference between mitosis and meiosis, which is this one right here. Let me erase that. Which is this question right here. So mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis is body cells, and meiosis is sex cells. And the difference is that with mitosis, the cells divide one time, and during that division process, during interphase, which I know you all remember well, the chromosomes duplicate so that when the body cells divide, it has each cell that is made during mitosis has 46 chromosomes. During meiosis, the cells actually divide twice. And let me bring up a blank screen for that, and I can show you that quickly. So what I need you to do now is I need you to click forward to slide 3, and then that will be the summary of meiosis and mitosis. Listen to the recording on slide 3, then come back to slide 2 to listen to the remainder of this session when I address the rest of the items. So switch to slide 3 right now and watch that, and then come back and pick up where you left off here. So the rest of this information is in the endocrine system notes, and what you've got to do is read them and make sure that you understand them. We've talked about the endocrine system a lot. We also did that TED activity where you were supposed to fill in the gland, the function, and the hormones that gland made. So, I told you that you didn't have to memorize all the glands and what they made, but that you did have to know the ones on the review, which in this case would be the pituitary, and then the pancreas. What is the pancreas? There it is. Okay. And these are all in your endocrine system notes. Okay. There's really no tricky questions. They're all pretty straightforward. I think the only one that might sound a little confusing is number 10, which is draw a cycle diagram to show thyroxine, a hormone produced by the thyroid gland, is regulated by negative feedback. Okay, you need to do that for the review. But a question like that is not going to be on the test. On the test is going to be something like, which one of these examples is much like the negative feedback example given to you during class? So basically that is, when your body needs to do something, your endocrine system will kick in, send the hormones around the body that will make that thing occur, whatever that is, whether it's raising your temperature by shivering, decreasing your temperature by sweating, giving your cells more energy, which is what this thyroxine was doing. But then the important thing, and which is why it's called negative feedback, is that it actually turns it off when it needs to. So you don't want the hormone to be the floodgates to be turned on, and then your body just keeps making this hormone like crazy and doesn't shut it off. The reason why it's called negative is because it eventually does shut it off. Beyond that, I think all of the questions are really straightforward, but what you've got to do is make sure that you understand them. One of the other questions that we got was, why is the hypothalamus not the master gland, but the pituitary is? The reason why is because the hypothalamus is not a gland. This is not a gland. Gland, no. The pituitary is a gland. The hypothalamus is not a gland. So that's why it's not the master gland. Pituitary is called the master gland because it bosses around all the other glands. Okay, so now when you click to slide 3, that will actually be the blank slide that I drew on to explain mitosis and meiosis. So now you need to go to slide 4. Okay, so mitosis, you know that you have one cell that makes two cells. That was mitosis. And then meiosis, one cell divides into two cells, which then divide again. So the difference is 4 daughter cells as opposed to 2. So there's 4 and then 2. And the reason for that is when this divides, it needs to divide again so that these cells only have 23 chromosomes. And that's because an egg cell and a sperm cell come together and we need that total to be 46. If we had 2 cells that came together that each already had 46, then we would have 92 chromosomes and we would not be human. According to Ethan, in 5th period, we would be some sort of a water rat because he looked up what organism has 92 chromosomes. So we need 46 in order to be human, and that's why meiosis has to occur with sex cells. Only sex cells, and then it only happens at one time, and then after fertilization occurs, then it goes right back to mitosis. All right, so these are these magical puberty questions. I don't think that I have to go through those in detail. As you can see, there are some repetitive questions. For example, what is negative feedback? Well, that's just like number 10, which is explain that cycle of negative feedback. We already talked about that. And then what is the master gland? I just explained that. That's the pituitary, and it's not the hypothalamus, again, because the hypothalamus isn't a gland. What is fertilization? What are genes? Now, this is in the reproductive system PowerPoint. You need to understand that genes, it goes chromosomes, are made of DNA, which are made of genes. And this is they call it like your blueprint. That decides what you are. That you'll have blonde hair and blue eyes, or dark hair and freckles, or dark skin and curly hair, or whatever. So that is what that's what's happening here. You also need to know what is a zygote and what are the stages of development after fertilization. So remember, we said Zeph, which is zygote, embryo, fetus. zygote, embryo, fetus. Before birth, that's the order. And then the definition of heredity, word for word, is in your notes. So my suggestion is to just read over your notes. If you're overwhelmed by all the information, go over the review and just make sure that you're familiar with the concepts, because it is multiple choice. So you're not going to have to do any sort of essays or short answer or anything like that. So good luck, everybody. Get a good night's sleep. Don't panic, because that never does anybody any good. And I promise you, if you've studied for this and you are prepared, you're going to do very well. It's a very straightforward exam. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.